Hello everyone, this is Shanko, and in this video I'm going to talk about exception handling in Spring APIs. So let's get started by creating a new project. I'm going to create a Spring starter project, and let's name it animal service, and let's have the group as com.zoo, and let's click on next, select web, click on finish. Okay, so first I'm going to create a response structure for our API. So I'm going to create a class and call it response, and I'm going to put it inside com.zoo.model, and I'm going to click on finish. So say we are working in an organization where certain standards are followed, and there's a certain response pattern that we need to follow for all of our APIs, and every developer needs to follow this response pattern. So let's say private string data, and say private string response code, and right, let's make it int, and let's say private string status. Okay, now let's provide getters and setters for these attributes. So let's assume that our company or our organization follows this standard response pattern for all the APIs, and be it a success response or be it an error response, we need to follow this structure while generating the response. So I'm going to create a simple controller class, and let's call it animal controller. I'm going to put this inside controller package. Annotate this as rest controller, and let's have a get mapping for this. I'm gonna set the path as /animal. I'm gonna say produces to application /json, and I'm going to provide a method public response entity, and I'm going to say response, and I'm going to say get animal details. So I'm going to create a response object. So response, say result equals to new response, and result dot say set data, say line, and result dot set response code, say success. Okay, response code, say 200, and result dot set status, say success, and I'm going to return new response entity, and say result and http status dot okay. Okay, so this is a very simple controller, and I'm going to open application.properties and set the server.port as 8181. Save this and run this. So let's get the URL ready by the time your application starts up. So http localhost 8181/animal. Okay, the application is up. Now let's hit send. Okay, so we have the success response, and we have data as line, and then response code as 200 and status as success. But what if we throw an exception here? Say int x equals to 10 if x equals to 10. Say throw new runtime exception. So if we do this, what is the response that we're gonna get? Let's see. Let's run this again. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, we get this response now. So this is not the format that our organization follows, right, for the response structure. So the response structure should be like this, where we have data, response code, and status. But this is something different from that. So how do we handle this? Okay, so I'm going to create a class and call it exception response provider. I'm going to put this inside com.zoo.exception package. You can finish, and I'm going to annotate this class as controller advice. And I'm going to have an annotation called exception handler. I'm going to set runtime exception dot class, and then I'm going to copy this piece of code from here and paste it here. And I'm going to say internal server error. I'm going to set the code as 500. I'm going to set the status as error. remove this. I'll set the status as internal server error and save this. Now let's run this again. And let's send this. So this time we have a custom error message, and it says internal server error, and the response code is 500, and status is error. So what we did is whenever any controller throws any exception, if we have a global exception handler such as this one, which has a controller advice, and then we have an exception handler method. Whenever the controller throws an exception, it comes to this class which has controller advice annotated, and then since the type of exception thrown here is runtime exception, so it looks for an exception handler which has runtime exception defined as a value. So and then it enters this method. If we don't throw an exception here, we're gonna get the response, and if this particular piece of code throws any kind of if it throws runtime exception, then it comes here and provides a custom exception or error response for our API. So hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.